Yo guys, Roundedtiktak here, and today, thank you for bearing with me. I usually try to bring out these builds as soon as humanly possible, but after 3 hours straight of playing last night, I wasn't happy with my builds and I didn't want to give you guys false information. But after playing for another 3 hours today, I think I've got it down to a build I like. This is what I think works. It works really well. It combines a lot of stats to synergize perfectly and beautifully, and it just does really well. Now, I don't know what I'm going to call this video, and I don't even know what the thumbnail is going to look like yet, because technically it should be this character, but we're not even using this character. The reason why, and why I stopped recording this morning, is because I was kind of angry. Last night, we and my boys were expecting to play with this. This is what I'm very excited about, but you cannot. The reason you cannot is you need both of these in support to activate this. All three of these synergize with each other. You can use them without each other, but they are not as good. All right. So I was kind of pissed off, but I'm just going to say that instead of actually going into it. And we just need a third Dino hero to come out. Hopefully next week they'll come out in the item shop or something like that. So with that out of the way, I know you guys want to know exactly how the build works, how you synergize it, and like what you could look at. A lot of you guys like general builds. This is not going to be one. This is going to be a specific loadout that you can do. Lastly, if you are a solo player and do not like playing with people, this entire build is almost useless to you because of the scaling of how the health works with your base damage. You're going to be one tanky boy, but you need to be in a party of 4, and we're talking, if you are, you can get up to 1.62 million health. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into the build. I'm going to show you exactly what I like to use on a constructor and a ninja, talk about the perk, exactly what it does and how much it actually helps you versus kind of doesn't do too much, and a few little tips and tricks along the way, because there are a few interactions with some of the items in the game that really buff this perk. So let's get into it right now. This is, fill in the title here because I still have no clue what I'm calling this video. None. So let's talk about Blast from the Past. What it does is removes all shield and increases max health by 200%. Now, that gives you a lot of health. We jump in a solo party from 284,000 with 116,000 shield all the way up to 706,000 health. Now there's a terminology in video games called effective health. I believe it's used mostly in MOBAs, where you can buy armor and health items and see how much you actually get, how much do you benefit from. But we can take that term and bring it into Fortnite as well with our armor stat. Our armor perk allows us to have a lot of effective health, and that is the goal of this build, to have a lot of health but simultaneously do a decent to large amount of damage. 706k is a ton. On top of that, we have Saurian Hide from Izza. While shield is depleted, increases armor by 33%. That is all the time. We don't have a shield. So from the start, we have a base 33% armor, or base 33 armor, taking away about, I think it's like 20% health. I would have to double check the stat screen. I think it's about 20% health. I know at 90, it's 50% less damage. So this is probably around 15 to 20% less damage you're going to be taking. Next up, we have Saurian Claws, adds 5.5 current health to melee weapon damage. Now, it's important to note that it says melee weapon, which means anything you want. Hammers, spears, swords, scythes, doesn't matter. You can use it because it's base weapon damage, base melee weapon damage. So that's going to be important here because that really affects our damage. Next up, and this is something you can swap out, again, not the perfect build, just what I like to use because I really liked playing with the Sir Lancelot, but we'll get there in a little bit. Assassination. Dealing melee weapon damage grants 1 stack of assassination up to 5 stacks. Assassination lasts 5 seconds and increases melee weapon damage 4.5 per stack. That just adds a lot of base damage to whatever weapon you're using after 5 attacks. Bomb suit is another thing we're going to be bringing here. Increases armor by 22. So now it's 33 plus 22, giving you 55 extra armor, or about 25%, 30% less damage in total. The last thing, and this is absolute core to bring, is eliminations heal you for 39 base health over 3 seconds. Duration refreshes with additional eliminations. Now, this is something you can change as well. Remember, you have to bring these two to use Blast from the Past. You can absolutely change Survivalist out and use something else that has a weird interaction in the game. However, it's going to take a bit of work for you to use it properly. Going coconuts, 20% chance to find coconuts in containers, increases damage by 16% while affected by coconuts. If you feel like going around and finding coconuts and keep them in your build, this is 100% a fantastic perk because they heal you based on percentage health. So since you have 1.1 million health, each time you eat a coconut, it heals you for like 180,000 health, allowing you to do a lot of burst healing instead of kind of sustained healing with Survivalist, as you always having to kill people. Going coconuts is something you can definitely try if you have it, which you should, and test it out. Now, if you do not want to bring assassination, there are a couple more perks you can bring. If you want to use a hammer, the smasher basher, the lead sled, something like that, I would go with crit rating. Because we want the impact perk, or you could take Sid if you want to, increases kinetic overload damage by 50%, or even the base damage on, I forgot who it is, actuated attacks, Tank Penny. Now let's talk about why I'm using Black Knight Garradin. Now that's the build that I'm using. Like I said, assassination kind of weird, but I'm not even using hammers. I'm using the Sir Lancelot most times. Increases hardware impact by 75%. Additionally, going constructor can trigger kinetic overload. Now, here's the thing. There's some kind of buggy thing here. This is the only character that I've played that when using a hammer can actually knock down the riot shielders. And I don't know why, but it does happen occasionally. And on top of that, since you're going to be this tanky guy, having a bunch of impact on your build is definitely worth thinking about. It's a fantastic way to stay alive and do damage and disrupt the enemy field. I really like this build. Like, I really do. I thought I wasn't going to like it at all, and ended up being super tanky, doing a decent amount of damage, especially with the ninja, and having 1.1 million health. It takes a lot to work through. Even on top of that, if you use Adrenaline Rush, you're going to see it only gives you like an eighth of your health back. It's really nuts. And now I hear you. You say, Tiktak, you said you were going to show us two builds. Well, we got the constructor out of the way and realize that this build is meant for constructors. This perk is meant for constructors as they have higher scaling health. Once you can move it around a little bit, that may change, but this doesn't change the maximum damage dealt for ninjas. You can get more damage or more sustained damage with the old builds. However, I haven't seen anybody really bring a ninja into a level 140, 160 mission and actually be successful until now. So with this build here, we have 565,000 health in a full man party with 131 players, all four of us. I was at 1.1 million health, allowing my Sir Lancelot to hit like a truck. The reason we are playing Deadly Blade Clash is she provides a snare, which, as we know, is absolutely fantastic, and 87% damage affliction for 3 seconds. So it's 3 ticks. So imagine you're hitting for 160,000 damage on a crit with your Sir Lancelot. You're getting 87% of that damage, which is, let's just say, 145% times 3 within 3 seconds. The reason this works more than just regular affliction damage is because it happens in a much faster time period. 3 seconds versus 6 seconds, and based on damage done. So you really want to use a weapon that hits super hard as fast as humanly possible, and also something with high crit damage. Sorry, just my brain stopped real quick. Also a high crit damage. You want it to hit as hard as possible. This is actually something where you can hit some body and walk away and they will die. the affliction damage alone is going to be like 550,000 damage. It's a lot. So this is definitely the character to play. You can play other ones if you want. It's not core mandatory, but it just synergizes nicely. Blast from the Past, of course. Saurian Hide, of course. Saurian Claws, of course. And then Assassination again here, just for higher base damage. Survivalist, Going Coconuts works as well. And Anatomy Lessons. The reason Anatomy Lessons is here because we need to crit to apply Corrosive Strikes. With this build right here, you will be hitting, your crit chance will be 53% as long as you have one crit rating on the weapon you're using. This build is focused a little more on doing damage because you don't need as much health because ninjas are so much more mobile than constructors. They can get out of bad situations pretty quickly. The thing you have to worry about on this build, in this build, is you need to always keep your health up. So you're going to go through some campfires and maybe some healing pads. You're always going to have your adrenaline rush, but there is one more thing that you can do. I keep running the build with a Sir Lancelot, the Spectral Blade, and a Gumdrop pistol, the Ginger Blaster. The Gumdrops, like I said earlier, scale with your health, and they heal you for a ton, like a literal ton, like 180,000 health per gun drop, because they're scaling, or at least it seems to be. There is no actual definition. And that's really it, guys. That is the Blast from the Past plus double dinos in your build kind of comprehensive look. We're not looking at the actual heroes this time, but just what they do to a build, because they do change the gameplay and playstyle a lot. And to be fair, I really actually enjoy it. This might be my go-to melee build specifically for higher level content. It's nice running around with any weapon you want melee style and not have to worry about being one-shot by literally everything. 1.1 or 1.6 million health is nothing to scoff at, and you end up doing a decent amount of damage too. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is how I'm going to run it from now on, at least if I'm playing higher level stuff. If you're new to the channel, maybe think about subscribing. I post videos like this 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, and really like to break down stuff and give mathematical facts about why my opinions are the way they are. But now it's your turn. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you find a different build that I may have missed? Are you running something different? I'm not saying that mine is the best, it's just what I really enjoyed playing and, doing for this particular build. Let me know down in the comments below if I missed something. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Tiktak out.